Hello, good evening. My name is Dr. Chudi Ufondu of Snowspirations Global Health Solutions. Thank you so much and welcome to today's YouTube evening live stream. Today we're going to talk about a very important aspect of fertility management or infertility management. You see, infertility is something that actually involves everybody in the community. So when infertility kind of steals away the joy in the family, it affects the woman, it affects the man, it affects the nuclear family, it affects the extended family. And at the end of the day, if you're not careful, infertility can attack the very fabric of your relationship. Now, we have to understand we are all spiritual beings. We didn't happen on this world by ourselves. Someone made us possible. That's called God. So there's a God factor when it comes to infertility. So that's what we're going to try and talk about today. If you also chronicle our group is based on triple P. The first part is praying. That praying part is actually recognizing a superior authority, recognizing a superior power who made everything possible. So in the method that will get you pregnant in our group, the most important component of the P is the prayer. And this is the basis for today's discussion. But we're going to try to keep it real. So we're going to look at the spiritual aspect of infertility management. We're going to look at the dangers of undue spiritualization of your infertility. And we're going to look at the benefits. How can spirituality help you to actualize your dream of starting your family? This is a very delicate topic. And most times when I'm discussing this, I'm very careful because there are so many couples currently going through difficulties. There are so many couples currently, they've lost their identity. They are wondering, what am I doing here? If I can start my family, if I can be happy, if I can be like others, then why did God create me? So if you're not careful, having infertility can take away every singular thing about you. But infertility can also be an opportunity for us to recognize that God is the ultimate of everything about us. So we're going to start with looking at the kind of a holistic approach to infertility. Infertility is a health problem that affects couples worldwide, regardless of your tribe, regardless of your income, regardless of your class. It doesn't matter, your culture, your economic status. So infertility can affect the poor, the rich, the middle class, the whatever. It's a public health problem. And when infertility strikes in a particular family, it damages those couples. When it damages the couples, it will go to the extended family, it will go to the nuclear family, it will go to the community and the individual involved. Now, when you compare women and men, when it comes to the impact of infertility, it's more telling on the women because of the expectations of a society on women. So infertility, along with the fertility treatment, often can crumble a very loving relationship. If you're not careful, you begin to question your purpose, your meaning, and your spiritual journey. Now we can use our energy, we can use our understanding that God is the ultimate creator of everything to leverage on the impact, the positive impact of spirituality. So when we talk about the positive impact of spirituality, we are looking at hope. Hope, as we all know, is a renewable commodity. Belief. So what do you believe in 2022? What's going to be your status in 2022? If you have hope, like hope in our group is defined as your babies running all over the home. That's our own definition of hope. Now, if you believe in your hope, you will believe that by this time next year, you're going to be a parent. Now, if you believe that, you will now understand the meaning of life and satisfaction. So these are the benefits of having a strong relationship with your God. And this is the positive aspect of spirituality. But we also have to keep it real. Some people just dwell on the praying point and on the spiritual point, and they don't balance it with reality. So this is where we're going to look at the dangers. So spiritual intervention are proposed for any couple going through infertility. You need to get closer to your God. You need to recognize that somebody actually woke you up today and gave you an opportunity to even complain. There are some people that have infertility, they probably didn't wake up today. They no longer have a chance. So any day you wake up, any day above ground is a great day. So you have to tap through the source of your energy. But we have to balance our praying, our playing, our practicing. We can't just dwell on the praying part alone, and we are not making love with our partner, and we are not exploring different options. So that's the danger of just dwelling on spirituality, praying, saying amen, but not doing the work. Spirituality should be considered throughout our life. Although infertility is identified as a physical problem, over time, infertility will be a holistic approach. So infertility can lead to psychological problem. Infertility can lead to emotional problem. Infertility can lead to spiritual distress. Whatever happens to you in life, you do not want to be in spiritual distress. Because when you go to that point where you no longer have faith and your spiritual level is zero, then you begin to crumble. That's the point that some people will begin to lapse into depression. And if care is not taken, they can be suicidal. But when you understand your source, when you understand that infertility expires, when you understand that by this time next year, when you do your own part, when you understand your individual role, when you as a woman will step up out of your infertility, situation and begin to do the work, and begin to exercise, and begin to drink water, and begin to sleep, and begin to command your hope, and begin to believe again, and begin to find meaning, and begin to find satisfaction, then you will be able to kind of combine everything together. When your spiritual level is completely zero, when you are only dependent on living in the church, on praying all the prayers, or fasting, or using olive oil, but you are not coming back home to your partner to make love, what's going to happen? There will be a gap. So you can pray all the prayer, you can be the prayer warrior out there, but if you don't take care of the second P, that will be a problem. So that's where I'm concerned. So we have to strike a balance between praying, between our spirituality, between our hopes, between our belief, between our meaning, between our finding satisfaction. Because let me tell you the truth. Some of us, our parents could have aborted us. Yesterday, I talked about adoption. It's always good to think about adoption anytime you think about abortion. Adoption over abortion. So many of our parents didn't have it better right now. They went through a lot, but they insisted they would give that to us. It's called hope. Hope is a renewable commodity. So being diagnosed with infertility and receiving the treatment itself can add additional strain in your relationship and also the society. So infertility can be described as just a physical disease, but it's not just physical, it's emotional, it's psychological, it's spiritual. If care is not taken, it's going to affect your whole being, and you will begin to feel the physical sickness in your body. As a result of this, when you go into crisis, spiritual crisis, who do you pray to in the morning? You no longer have a cause to, be hopeful. You won't even be making love. Let's tell ourselves the truth. If you are not in a good place, the last thing you want to hear is 48-hour lovemaking. It will be like I'm speaking French. But if you find your essence, if you connect to God, if you have hopes, if you have faith, if you have satisfaction, if both of you are on the same page, you will still make love. And in your lovemaking, you will see the essence of God. God will manifest and begin to act on his promises, because God's promises is to give us an expected end. And we are in the world, so we are definitely going to be challenged. Infertility happens to be one of the challenges we meet in life. So infertility has a multi-systemic impact on the environment, on our personal relationship with people, on our relationship with ourselves. Some women over time begin to query themselves. You look yourself up in the mirror, you no longer see the beautiful woman you are. Some men will begin to query their sanity. Some men will begin to worry why they did this, why they did that. When you begin to find yourself in that situation, you are leaning on your understanding. You need to let go and let God. And part of letting God is having trust in the process. You are going through a process. There is a reason why God allows some people to go to medical school. There is a reason why God put the passion in me to be out there to help people I don't even connect with. So at any stage you find yourself in the infertility journey, you have to balance things out. So a little bit of spirituality, a little bit of reality, and a little bit of work. Couples that are expected to have children in the society based on where you're coming from, you're expected to preserve your bloodline and keep your inheritance. These are expectations from the society in many countries. Like if you're in Nigeria, it's expected that by the time you come of age, you marry. It hasn't stopped there. When you marry, they want you to have kids. When you have kids, they want you to have boys. When you have boys, they want you to have more. So at any stage, there is something in the society you're planning to catch up. Now, depending on where you live, there are multiple choices. There are diversity in the society. There are some people that don't even want to marry. There are some people that might marry, they want to have dogs. They don't want to have kids. There are some people that might not even want to connect to their parents. We have choices, but majority of us are Nigerian. So if you don't live up to the perceived expectation and norms from the society, you begin to break down psychologically. You begin to feel that you're not adequate. And by the time you begin to feel like you're not adequate, you will go into your shells. By the time you go into your shells, your libido will be low. Remember that the standard thing that will get a woman pregnant is what? The ability of the partner to put the penis inside the vagina and ejaculate, and the sperm will get to the womb and begin to go to the tubes and get you pregnant. The moment you are messed up spiritually and your mental health is, in a bad place, you are not going to have libido. When you don't have libido, you're not going to make love for 8 hours. When you don't make 48 hours, you're not going to have a chance to become pregnant. So what are you going to do? You're going to fall back. Where are you going to go? You probably go to those spiritual people. And in this contemporary society, there are so many people that are, happy that you have problems. So they can latch on the money you will give them. Some people want you to bring money before they can pray for you. Some people tell you lies so that they can convince you that something that is happening to you in regards of your infertility is from the villages. The majority of infertility problems we have today is because of things we are not doing right. So you still need to connect to the other two P's. So when you have said your prayer, you go down on your knees and you tell God, tonight, if I'm making love to my partner, let tonight be the night. God, reward me for every effort I've put in. But if you are not doing the work, it's going to be a long time. So considering that infertility is a multiple problem all in one, it's important we are careful when we are approaching infertility. Now, I'm going to mention some facts which we are conversant with. Women may use religious and spiritual belief to cope with crises. So when they are going through infertility, they can actually find meaning and hope in their infertility suffering. But please be careful. God still wants you to have babies. So when you are finding faith, when you are finding, belief and everything, still remember to go back to your partner and make love to your partner. Spirituality is a meaning-based strategy. Spirituality doesn't mean you won't accept in the physical that you're existing in the world. Spirituality doesn't mean that everything, you just leave it to God, you're not doing your own part. Spirituality means understanding that God will play his own role and you play your own role by doing what God wants you to do, by checking the steps. The only place in the Bible, the only person that didn't go through penis and the vagina in regards to giving birth to that person is our Lord Jesus Christ. Apart from that, every other individual passed through the process. So infertility can cause a lot of crises between you and your partner, but you have to understand the holistic approach of applying your spirituality, applying your action, applying your practices, because one thing that will cause a change in our life is a combination of knowledge, attitude, and perception and practices. If you don't know, you will not do better. But when you know better, you are better. And when you are better, you have more good outcome. So the adversity of infertility can actually reawaken your spirituality. So when your spirituality is awakened, you will know that you also have a role to play. And we quite understand that religion and spirituality are the fundamental part of all our culture. So if you're in Nigeria, definitely it's either you're a Muslim or a Christian, and you pray every day. So most women that have infertility problem will experience infertility, and it will give them an enriching experience, and it will help them to grow spiritually. But please be careful. When you're doing this, remember to piggyback and do the natural. Remember, you're still existing in planet Earth. So don't go over the board. Don't go spiritual when it's not needful. When you wake up in the morning, say your prayers to God, leave everything to God, but you need to do something. Gone are the days when manna fell from heaven. Manna do no longer fall from heaven. There is no problem in this world that God cannot solve, but you have to be in the right place at the right time. So we can leverage on the positive aspect of spirituality. Then we can also limit the dangers. There are so many people, as I'm talking to you today, if they did the right things, they would have completed their family. And this is a reality. So God made us in his own image, so we can go into the world to multiply. So when you pray next, pray God for wisdom. Pray God to connect the people that will tell you the truth. In this world of so many confusion in social media, so many distractions, there are so many people that are happy you're having infertility. There are so many people that are deceiving you. There are so many people that will tell you to bring money, and they pray for you, and they do this and they do that. God doesn't charge you for anything. God has given you a sound mind. So when you are connecting your spirituality, also remember to be in your reality. You cannot disconnect from your reality. You cannot overtly spiritualize everything. Let me give you an example. You are having infertility. You are 45. You've been married for 10 years. Then you've been wondering, you've gone to all the prayer houses in the world, you've prayed all the Bible verses, you've used all the brands of olive oil. Then you came to our group, and we connected you to a fertility specialist, and you agreed to go. And when you got to a fertility specialist, we discovered that your 2 tubes are blocked. You are 45, knowing fully well that at 35, your fertility is reducing. Now, when you get to that fertility specialist we sent you to, that's your own angel. There are so many people that are gods in this world. We haven't seen God with our korokoro eye. So there are some people that God will connect you to as your own God. As the way you begin and cast and bind and want to open something that is physically blocked. It's physically blocked. But God has connected you to someone that will bypass the blockage and still make you a mother. So at this stage, if you dwell on the spiritual aspect of pouring olive oil, speaking life, doing all those things for something that physically is not functioning, you are dwelling on over spiritualization. You are spiritualizing this. What is the right thing to do at this stage? You have already received your diagnosis. You are 45, and at 45, it's possible you have low ovarian reserve. It's possible you might be getting ready to go to menopause. So what is the reality? How do you apply PPP in this situation? You begin to go for IVF, knowing fully well that when your tubes are blocked, you cannot become pregnant naturally, and you're 45. This is your reality. Every woman is going to age. So when you accept that you are now having problems with your tubes, including your age, and you have been married for a long time, and you're 45, you are dealing with your reality. At that junction, by the time you activate your attitude, your practices, you will start looking for what? IVF. When you are ready for IVF, your partner is ready for donor sperm, you're ready for donor eggs, you're just ready. Everything will start working good. Guess what will happen? God is a good God. Our God is watching us. God acts Jara for us. So God can multiply your one into many. We have seen women that felt they didn't have hopes. As I'm talking to you right now, I have a client in Italy, currently in London. When she subscribed to our group, she didn't know she was going to be a mother. She was already written up. But she listened to one of my classes and followed the process. Today, she's a mother of a baby girl. I'm not talking about the lady that took her from Ireland, went to Newi. Today, she's a mother of twin boys. So when you step up, God can multiply your one into many. There are so many women that can still have the opportunity of becoming multiple pregnant mothers, because the older you get, the more the likelihood of you to become pregnant. So while we are embracing our praying, we should also embrace our playing 48 hourly. So no matter what happens, there are days you don't want to make love. I understand that. There are days your partner might want to make love. I understand that. There are days you want to make love. I understand that. But guess what? We have a project. Our project is to start our family. This is September. What are we going to do about it? When you have prayed about it, when you have gone spiritual about it, when we tell you your reality, what do you do with your reality? What do you do with the fact we've spent 7 days in September? How are you going to be a mother in 2022? What are you going to do differently? How are you going to improve your chance? How are you going to continue your family lineage? What are your options? What are the problems? We are all challenged every single day. So in a nutshell, please, let's leverage on the positive aspect of spirituality. Yes, let's use our spirituality to fine-tune our mind. When you go down on your knees to pray, ask God to connect you to people that will help you, to your helpers. If it's just one person that God placed on your path and you accept God's way, you will get there. There are so many women that God is only going to bless through IVF. There are so many women that God is only going to bless as mothers through adoption. There are so many women that will need IUI. But if you are leaning on your understanding, you might blink and it's all over. Okay, so thank you so much. At this stage, I'm going to open the floor. Please, I want it to be an interactive session. So this is not like a purely academic kind of topic today. I just want us to rub minds. So please, if you have questions, feel free to ask your questions. COO, you can go ahead and ask questions. If you have some questions, please go ahead and ask. And we wrap it up around 25 minutes. Okay? If you have questions, please feel free to ask, and I'll provide you feedbacks. Please remember to subscribe to our channel. If today is the first day of coming, thank you so much. What you will expect in our group, it's everyday teaching. Every day I show up with a particular topic and we deconstruct the topic. We understand it better. We improve our knowledge base. Then we improve our opportunity of starting our family. Every woman out there is a mother until you decide no longer to be a mother. Okay? So thank you so much. Thank you for coming. If you are a subscriber, Lillian, thank you so much. So make sure you set your notifications to inform you when I come live. And please also share our channel. Tell your friends. Everybody is provided for. I'm saying this in all sincerity. I see you a mother. I see you a mother of 1, 2, 3, 4. By this time next year, I just don't want you to give up. I just don't want you to stay in one place. Unfortunately, if you are not careful, depending on the community you're hanging around, depending on the people you have around you, they might derail you. When you have said your prayers, go to work. There is diligence in work. Okay? What's my advice for a couple who have been praying and playing and practicing for 5 years without results? Now, when you have done your best in life, what's next to do? When you have done your God's best and it's truly confirmed you've done your God's best, what do? You yield to higher authority. Now, if you have been trying for 5 years, there are a couple of factors I'm interested in. Number one is what? Your age. The biggest factor in the life of a woman is her age. So depending on your age, if you are 35 years and above and you have been trying for 5 years, you're actually late. So what do? You escalate immediately. So what you should do is to make sure you're hooked up to a fertility specialist. When you go there, we have our baseline investigation. Our baseline investigation means we are going to run all the fertility tests for the woman, run all the fertility tests for the man, come up with a diagnosis. Now, whatever we give you, please take it. So if you're above 35 and we want to start on Clomid, please go for Clomid. If you want to start for IUI, please go for it. If it's IVF, please go for it. And when you are doing all these things, have a backup plan. So when you are shopping for money for IVF or IUI, also have plan for adoption. And when we discover that your eggs are not good enough, yield, use your donor eggs, use your donor sperm, have alternatives, budget for this. Don't just pray from January to December, the same prayer point. Our God is not deaf. Our God is not blind. Most of us are not getting because we want to figure things out by ourselves. You cannot say you believe in God and you are planning to be like God. Only God knows why I'm talking to you today. Someone is not sleeping tonight because they don't have a baby. Someone is crying as they're listening to me. But guess what? Joy cometh in the morning, because God is going to wake you up in the morning. And when you wake up in the morning, by the time you realize you can still be a mother, then you begin. There is no time to waste. Okay? At what time should a couple consider IVF or IUI? So this is a very important question. Now, age is also a factor. You see, the best time to have all your kids are in your 20s. So depending on your duration of infertility, if you guys got married, if you're 25 and you got married and you come to me at the end of 2 months and you're telling me about infertility, what will I do? I will send you back home. You're going to make love to your partner for 12 months. At the expiration of the 12th month, if you don't have a baby, then you can come, we can begin a conversation. If you are above 35 and you have done this for 6 months, if you don't have a baby, you escalate. So when you escalate and see a fertility specialist, we are going to assess you. By the time we are done assessing you, we are going to find out what would best work for you. So we can start with Clomid challenge, we can graduate to IUI, then ultimately IVF is the last option. So IVF is not always the last option. IVF is not always the first option. IVF is the last option. When every other thing fails, then you can transition to IVF. And it's not just enough to show up reluctantly. Because let me tell you the truth. Our mind is the biggest weapon, the biggest tool. So when you are showing up, when you have said your prayer, you also believe you're going to be a mother. So many women show up and they are not seeing their babies in 2022. They haven't named their babies. They haven't named their twins. They haven't named their triplets. And they believe. How can you believe and you haven't seen your babies running all over your house? So time is of essence. So as soon as your age fell into these two categories, you begin to escalate. And please, when you have tried your best, assuming you've done 2 IUIs and it failed and you're 45, immediately switch to IVF. Very important. Okay, can someone get specimen to travel to Nigeria? What do you mean by that, my sister? Please take time and ask your questions correctly. Your question is not correct. Your question is not clear. Can someone get specimen? If I understand correctly, are you referring to sperm specimen? If that's what you're referring to, thank God for modern technology. So depending on the fertility specialist you have, there are some arrangements for them to transfer your partner's specimen, like the sperm or even your eggs, from one place to the other. So it's possible, but it has to be a reliable lab, because if we are transferring the sperm or the egg or the embryo from one place to the other, that transport must be reliable. That transport must be trustworthy, so that once we get it to Nigeria, they also have a facility to get it done. So what you need to do is to make a lot of inquiries. If I understand you correctly, if you're talking about transporting your partner's sperm back to Nigeria, there are some providers that can do that. So what you need to do, you can take this conversation outside this particular discussion, and any of the admin can set you up, and we can tell you what you need to do so we can see what we can do to help you. Can a woman be pregnant beyond 42 weeks? No. Now, the cutoff point in our group, there are certain things we do differently in our group. An average pregnancy is supposed to last for about 9 months, which is approximately 42 weeks. Okay, so when you go for your pregnancy booking is the first appointment. We are going to ask you your last menstrual period. Your last menstrual period will help us to calculate 2 things. Your gestational age, the age of that pregnancy as at that day, then expected date of delivery or expected date of confinement. Now, your expected date of delivery is the date we might likely believe that the baby is going to go, you're going to go into labor and have a baby. Now, most women will not have their babies on the day they have the expected date of delivery. Now, an average pregnancy is supposed to last just about 42 weeks. But when your baby gets to 37 weeks, your baby is considered 10. When you have your baby at 37 weeks, 38 weeks, 39, 40 weeks, we can assess your baby and we can send you home. But when your baby comes before 37 weeks, your baby is called preterm or preemie. Your baby will be remanded in neonatal intensive care unit. Make sure your baby is good before we send you home. Now, no woman should carry her pregnancy beyond 42 weeks, because at that 42 week, your pregnancy will be turned post-date. There is no other thing your baby is doing inside your belly. We must deliver your baby. So at that 42 weeks, your provider will decide if they're going to induce you, if they're going to augment, or if they're going to conduct CS. So every singular pregnant woman, when you see your provider, have that meaningful conversation about what will happen when you're gone beyond your EDD. Very, very important. Every singular pregnant woman must have a baby after 42 weeks. Once you get to 42 weeks, we must bring that baby out, because at that stage, we are causing more harm than good to the baby. Now, I'm sure you've had so many testimonies of people that will go to church and they will stand up, they will give them big microphone, and they will be telling the whole congregation, I've been pregnant for 3 years. I've been pregnant for 5 years. It's not pregnancy. What you have is probably fibroid. No woman, listen to me carefully. No woman can carry her baby comfortably in good health beyond post-date. So this is an area you need to be careful with spiritualization. There are so many dummies they are selling to us because we are running on God, and anytime they mention the name of God, they use it to confuse us. So if you are pregnant, once your pregnancy is beyond 42 weeks, go to your doctor. Tell your doctor that Dr. Chudi said that baby must come out. And be ready to go for CS if we have to do CS for your baby. Okay? I love that question. Many BFB couples, BFB means believing for baby. That's what we call our women that will become pregnant, that will become mothers in 2022. Many BFB couples in Nigeria will learn on spiritualization to cope. What healthy coping tips can you give them? Now, the healthy coping tips I can give you is to be practicable about your approach, is to understand that your infertility will end based on your own efforts. So while you are depending on God, remember your PPP. Remember you still need to pray. Remember you still need to sleep. Remember you still need to drink water. You still need to exercise. You still need to make love. So remember your own input. Remember your own path. Understand the essence of infertility. That infertility is coming to damage your love, your relationship, your friendship, your understanding among each other. So find a way of navigating through tension when stress and other external factors from infertility will be planning to destroy your relationship. Refuse. So while you're depending on spiritualization as your sole source, also consider your reality. So when you go to your church and they tell you to bring money for them to pray for you, you can give them money. I don't have any problems giving people money. I don't have any problems supporting your church. But guess what? You also have to save money to go for your own treatment. And if you're a member of a church, you've been contributing a lot of money, don't be shy. Don't be ashamed to tell your congregation, to tell the pastor or the wife that you need help. Infertility requires money. It's expensive. So when you have said a prayer, the biggest prayer you can even say in September is for God to provide the avenue. Is for God to provide a helper that will sponsor your infertility so you can become a mother like other people. So you need to know where to draw the line. Very important. Another question you have, Mother, when you don't ask your questions correctly, you'll be confusing me. Let me see if I can make sense out of your question. Another question you have, how can you calm anxiety down after failed IVF? Everything is all tied together. Now, what are the things you have to do when you've had a failed IVF, failed any procedure or negative pregnancy test after spending a lot of money? You have to have closure. How can you have closure? Go to the doctor that conducted that procedure. Have a conversation. Let them investigate. Let them give you your report. Let you understand what they did right or what they did wrong before you go for another thing. So you have to have closure. Everybody goes through anxiety. But when you have done your best, you can't dwell on just worries because worry will not change anything. Matter of fact, as a woman, if you dwell on worry or anxiety, you might actually upset your hormones. And when your hormones are not in a good place, you're not going to ovulate. So anxiety is normal, but flip your anxiety in your own good. So one of the things I will advise you to do in this group, go and get the Bible of IVF. So we have our IVF guideline, a manual Tell the admin. Admin is going to give you an opportunity. You get your own copy. So you understand the process of IVF. You understand your rights. You understand the right questions to ask. Then you understand how you can navigate when you have negative outcome. Most couples will have more than one cycles of IVF before they succeed. So when the first one fails, it's going to break your heart. I understand that. But you're going to bounce back. But if we are going for the second cycle, we have to get it right. Very important. Very important. Okay? Couples diagnosed with infertility of unknown origin. What's the best option for them? It also depends on your age. But the ultimate aim of infertility of unknown origin is a stepwise management. Remember, I talked about this a few days ago. So first of all, we're going to challenge you with Clomid. We're going to see how you respond. When we are giving you Clomid, we are trying to induce your ovaries to give us a lot of eggs, which we call super ovulation. When Clomid fails, we are going to graduate to IUI with your natural ovulation cycle. When that fails, we are going to graduate to IUI with Clomid support. When that fails, we are going to graduate to IUI with injectable gonadotropins. When that fails, ultimately we go for IVF. So IVF is the last bus stop when you have infertility of unknown origin, especially if you're above 35. Okay? Now, thank you so much for coming. Today is a different kind of topic, so that's probably why we spend more time. Tomorrow, we're going to look at another topic. Remember, the essence of SGHS is to help you to understand your body better, is to help you to make tough decisions. Infertility is tough. Let me tell you, the strongest of people out there, infertility has crushed them. I want you to begin to see the possibility of becoming a mother in 2022. Look, I've been there. Everything you've been through, I've been there. But I have my outcome today. And I believe that's part of the reason why I show up every day. So the fact you don't have a baby in 2021 doesn't mean you're not going to complete your family in 2022. So I want you to be very, very up and about. Now, graduate from your planning to executing. There are so many people that have been planning since 5 years ago. They've been planning since 10 years ago. Graduate from that planning phase to execution. Now, remember, you need money. You cannot go through infertility without money. You need money. So when you pray, pray God to give you money. Don't pray that money is the root of all evil. Don't block the money you need. If you have good people that will give you money, go for loan. Whatever you need to do to get the services you need, please do them. Tomorrow, we're going to look at overcoming failed pregnancy. Very important topic. When you've had failed pregnancy test, most women go into depression anytime they see they are bleeding. It can be quite depressing. So tomorrow, we're going to look at that. We're going to look at things you can do to cope up when you've had a false, pregnancy test or it failed completely, when you see your period, when you have failed IVF, when you've had failed IUI, when you have failed fertility treatment. What do? How do you bounce back? So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. So keep a day with us tomorrow. Remember, before you go, click on the subscription button. Please set the notification to all. Then please share this channel with everyone that wants to learn about their body. It's completely free of charge. If you are in Facebook, please make sure you join our page. Make sure you join our group. And if you're my personal friend in Facebook, every day you show up, you will definitely learn something from me. Now, the month of September in our organization is devoted to gender selection. Personally, I'm not the gender kind of guy. I'm gender neutral. I believe a boy is the same with a girl, but I understand that our population might have a need for family balancing. So we are going to offer that super masterclass on the 26th of this month. So if you've been wondering how you're going to have your boy, how you're going to have your girl, how you're going to, end the Cold War in your family. There are so many people that are fighting Cold War. Since you got married, you and your partner are not in good terms because the so-called partner is thinking you gave him only girls. Meanwhile, without knowing that it's actually the man that will determine if you're going to have a baby boy or a baby girl. So on the 26th, we're going to go there. So make sure you register for that, and we're going to see you when we see you. Thank you so much for coming this evening. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, Ebenezer. Thank you, Chinyere and Lillian. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until I see you, God loves you. Love yourself. And remember, when everything else fails, pray, play, practice. Apply this to all aspects of your life. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.